Now let's go to the men's side of things, and we're going to do this right. We're going to talk about the dark horse first, and we're going to go 5-1 in this side of things. Again, my dark horse has to be from NXT. I had 4 candidates. I had Walter, who in the past has been rumored he does not want to be in the main roster because he doesn't want to move to the US. That might have changed. That doesn't remove the fact that he is a force of nature in that ring. He's technical, he's brutal, and you just see him, and you know he means business. Now, that's, excuse me, that's from what we've seen on NXT. Now, you can't really trust that because of, Karrion Kross. We saw brilliant things out of Karrion Kross in NXT, and then they watered him down to the point where he's now gone from WWE, so that might change. We've got Pete Dunn, again, who is in the same camp as Walter, and he's pretty young. He could still stay in NXT for a few more years, or bring him up to the main roster and have him build up a series of matches and a repertoire of performances that earn him back to the top, this time in WWE. You got someone who recently lost his NXT championship this past Tuesday, Tommaso Champa. Now, if you've been watching any wrestling news, you know that a lot of the old guard of NXT has been released from WWE. So, Tommaso Ciampa is going to make his main roster debut sooner rather than later. It's either that or, knock on wood, he gets released. Which I don't ever want to see that happen. But sooner, very soon, actually, we should expect to see Tommaso Ciampa on the main roster because he does not fit what NXT is at this point in time right now. Excuse me. And my main dark horse on the NXT side of things is the current and new NXT champion, Braun Breaker. Now, I'm not going to add anything else to that. I've already said everything I wanted to say about Braun Breaker in the past. They've already made him NXT champion. And I think if it's not him winning the Rumble match, then he's going to debut right after WrestleMania. Either way, we're going to see Braun Breaker on the main roster before we hit June in WWE. I firmly believe that he is at that level. Now let's get into the main frontrunners. Number 5. We've got someone who is being built up the old school style of things. He is the current United States champion. He's had some under the radar performances for WWE. And of course, I'm talking about Damien Priest, someone that WWE put on the map last year's WrestleMania when he tagged with Bad Bunny, and that just captured headlines. But I think they're building up Damien Priest right now, I'm sorry if you heard that, to the point that they have no choice but to make him a main eventer. Now, will that happen this year? Will that happen as soon as the Royal Rumble match? I don't think so. But I also think that Damien Priest will enter the Rumble match. He'll have a hell of a performance, which will put him over the top for WWE, and eventually down the line, during the summer, just like Big E, Damien Priest could be the next bona fide main eventer and world champion for the leader in sports entertainment. Now, we'll see. We'll see what happens. He's the current United States champion. That's been working for him right now. But again, WWE has a systemic problem right now with their mid-card champions. They don't really have anything for them to do. They don't have any meaningful feuds for either of them. For either Damien Priest or Shinsuke Nakamura. So WWE has to work on that. Number 4. Now, he's only this slow because I said it earlier in the show. I think he's going to dethrone Brock Lesnar as WWE Champion at the Rumble pay-per-view. I think the Almighty has a chance at winning the Rumble match. No problem. I wouldn't be against the idea of having Lashley versus Reigns for the title at WrestleMania as one of the main events. I wouldn't be against that. But that's not what WWE wants. It seems like they're going more towards the route of having Big E chase Bobby Lashley on the road to WrestleMania. That's not too bad either. So, right now I'm putting Bobby Lashley at number 4 because I think he's going to become WWE Champion once again at the Rumble match. And right behind him is the current WWE Champion, Brock Lesnar. Like I said, I think he has a better chance at winning the Rumble match because I think the Bloodline is going to cost him the title at the Rumble, and then Lesnar's going to win the Rumble, and he's going to target Reigns, and he has a surefire match against the Tribal Chief for the title. That's a sure way of getting your way for WWE. Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns for the title for the Universal Championship at WrestleMania. Number 2. He might win it. If he wins this match, this might be the jump start that he needs to get back on track after losing the WWE Championship on day 1 of 2022. I'm talking about Big E. Now, Big E lost the title. He got pinned by Brock Lesnar, and on Monday Night Raw, he lost the number 1 contenders match. So now he has to watch as the Almighty is the one to challenge one-on-one against the Beast Incarnate for his WWE Championship. Which means you're telling fans that Big E does not get a rematch clause. He doesn't get an automatic rematch for the WWE title. Just like Kofi Kingston didn't over 2 years ago. Now you're telling fans that Big E lost the title, and then he lost his chance at regaining the championship, which means Big E is on a downward spiral. Are you telling that story? If you are telling that story, then what better way to get Big E over the hump? Get him serious. Get him to be the powerhouse that we know he can be, but unfortunately he's too charismatic and he's too entertaining to be that way right now. But if he wins the Royal Rumble match, that gets him focused, and that puts a target on the brand new WWE Champion, Bobby Lashley, on the road to WrestleMania. That's my pick. And then number 1, because like I said, WWE might be building up to Brock versus Reigns at WrestleMania for the main event. They might be building up. That might be what they want. That's not what I want. And there's a story playing out on SmackDown that Roman Reigns is dodging Drew McIntyre. And I get it. Drew McIntyre already won the Rumble 2 years ago. Why not do it again? He got injured. He gets a hell of a reaction. And SmackDown, much like on the women's side of things, they don't really have a lot of male superstars to pit against Roman Reigns at this point that really become a threat to the Tribal Chief. And that's Drew McIntyre. I think Drew McIntyre is the number 1 frontrunner to win the Rumble match. That might change. Again, he got injured at day 1. He might not be a part of the Rumble match or WrestleMania plans. Again, knock on wood, because he's a fantastic superstar who deserves to be in the main event. We'll see what happens. But again, those are my predictions, my front runners, my rankings on who I think are going to win the Rumble matches. And I'm saying this right now. It's January 7th, 2022. We are about over 3 weeks away from the Rumble match. We are months away from WrestleMania. So I'm doing this before they build anybody up as a clear candidate to win the match itself. But what do you think? Leave your list on the comment section below. Who do you think is going to win each Royal Rumble match? Do you agree with my picks? Do you disagree with my picks? Leave your thoughts on the comment section below.